Time to go peach picking. What's going on, team? Your boy NUNZI here. Super excited to walk you guys through one of my signature glute workouts. We're gonna go do 5 exercises today. I get asked a lot, how much do you train the glutes? And I'd always recommend twice a week. I think that's the perfect frequency. I think once a week is a little on the shy end. And of course, 3 times could be a little bit much. So let's kick things off here. This is a really standard glute workout that I do pretty much once a week. I don't veer off too much from this, but of course, I'm gonna start with the Smith machine hip thrust. So I love doing the hip thrust as my first exercise. This is kind of like the star of the show. You always wanna really pick your best exercise first. You're gonna have the most energy, and typically this is where the best quality set's gonna be. There's a lot of opinions on the hip thrust in terms of what setup. You know, there's even hip thrust. There's like 3 hip thrust machines here in this gym. This is like the booty gym, by the way, which is amazing. I like the Smith just because it's so easy to get in and out of. I find sometimes with the barbell, you can be sitting there, oh, okay, hold on. So you always want to make sure this bench ain't moving. So the setup is key. You know, I'll spend at least a couple minutes making sure I'm set up properly, especially doing a hip thrust. You really got to make sure you take the time to set yourself up right. So anyway, I'm going to walk you guys through, oh, there he goes. I'm going to walk you guys through some basic cues. So what I was just doing there was positioning the bench. So you want to have the top of it's almost like the bottom of your shoulder blades. That's kind of the perfect spot for where your back should rest. You don't want to have it too like this, because then you're going to slip. And if you go too far back, you won't get that range and it'll start to hurt your core a little bit. So now I'm all set up. I'm going to take a wide sumo stance today. I really feel it in my glutes when I'm doing the wide sumo stance. We're going to unthrust it. Now, I always just take a quick second before I go to make sure my feet are in, like everything, my feet are grounded, core is tight, I'm feeling stable, my glutes are already on fire, and I'm gonna really slowly come down. I'm not dropping all the way like this. I'm finding that it's kind of like you kind of gotta find it yourself, but it's right before my back would dip and I lose the glute recruit. So my glutes are engaged. Once I find that place, I'm gonna thrust up and drive up, keeping that core nice and tight. You really wanna go slow on the eccentrics, team, especially on the hip thrust, really milking that as you squeeze up and drive through. The pro tip here, if you show my feet for a sec there, Brownie, I'm really kicking my knees out. So my knees are never going in like this. That's gonna shut your glutes off. You gotta kick those knees out as you thrust up through. Slowly come down, thrust up through. Oh my God, just even doing a couple sets like this is absolutely peaches on fire. So, hip thrust on the Smith. If you wanna do it with a dumbbell, if you want to do it with a barbell, if you want to do a hip thrust machine, it's a great way to start your glute workouts. I usually do more of a volume, so I'm looking around 5 to 8 sets. Depending on that day, if I'm going heavier, we'll do more about 10 reps. And if I want more of like a pump, I'll do 25 reps. My sets are comprised always of 10 or 25 rep sets. That's how I've been training for the last 5 years. It's worked wonders. So this is exercise 1. We're gonna move on to dos. Number 2 on the day is a split squat. Once again, many variations you can do with a split squat. The most popular is probably just a traditional dumbbell split squat where you have your foot on the bench. This is a really nifty little thing here. That's why I just love this gym. Shout out to Gym Movement here. Such a great, a lot of fun little pieces, but you can use, you can use the bottom. I've also used in the past a decline bench with this kind of soft pad, because it is nice. I'll show you what I mean in a sec. Now, I have over the years chilled out a lot on heavy squats. You know, I used to be the guy that loves to come in, belt up, put on 4 donuts aside. But I started to realize that I wasn't doing a lot of good in terms of muscle development. My joints were taking a lot of poundage. I was getting hurt a lot. And I started to really realize, like, it's about drawing the weight back, especially if you want to get big legs. I get asked that a lot. I'm always like, try a 25 or a 50 repper. But I've also had a much more respect now for isolation. And this is why I spend most of my time doing single leg movements. And the split squat, oh man, it is so great. So once again, let's get set up properly here. I love doing these in the Smith. I am such a fan of the Smith machine. It is just such a great machine. It keeps everything really stable. I can always latch on to these sides to give me more stability. But I'm gonna break down some mechanics here, the split squat. So first off, your back leg, now like I said, I have this little nice pad here, should just be chilling out just like this. A lot of people, if they have a bench, they gotta do toe, but I'm just gonna rest it like this. Now the key is you gotta make this 90 degrees. I gotta have my knee just like this. If my foot's too far back, just to show you what I mean here, like if my foot's like this is why lunging kills people, by the way, is because their foot's too far back. Like look at this, my knee is not over my heel, which means my knee is gonna scream. And if it's too far forward, then you're just gonna get a lot of hammy and you're not gonna get that glute recruit. So the key here is to find that 90-degree angle. And you're sitting into it. You see how I'm sitting into it? I'm not going forward. That's huge for the glutes. Because you wanna think about you sit into it and drive up through the heel. Core is tight, you're keeping the back nice and flat as you're driving through the glute. Oh my gosh. And this is an absolute just destroyer of legs. Oh, and it acts as a nice little seat. So, split squat, I'm gonna do 2 sets, probably 25 reps. I love 25 rep sets. I get asked a lot about the 25 rep sets, very untraditional from typical lifting, which is more 8 to 10. The reason why I like it so much is because I personally feel that when people work out, they leave so much on the floor, you know, and I've always trained with the motto of you always got 5 more. So in a 25 rep set, I'll pick a weight where I fail around 15. I gotta break at 15, but I take a rest pause, which is a quick breather, and then I bang out 5 more. A quick breather, and I bang out 5 more, which gets me to 25. And that's just absolutely been the magic key. Number 3, guys, is an abduction machine. Super excited once again for this gym, having this beauty here. Pretty rare piece, to be honest. This is a standing abduction machine, but any standard abduction machine's fine. This is the Peach Maker. We're gonna break through some good cues here on how to utilize this. So the thing that I think about when I'm doing this exercise is I'm driving my knees into the pad and really squeezing out. Where people go wrong, and this is such a mistake that you see so often, is reps like this. You know, there's just not a lot of control here. There's just a lot of moving of the weight. When I'm doing this, I lock, I load, I engage my glutes, I fire, and I hold it. I slowly bring it down, I lock, load, fire, and hold it. So my first 10 reps are really good quality isometric holds. Once I start to fatigue, then I can kind of up the tempo in this. The cool thing about the standing abduction is I can really adjust myself if I want to go more back, if I want to do a completely bent over. This is a very subjective thing because you have to try and fit what works for you. I find every abduction machine I've ever used fits differently. So sometimes if you've seen my posts, I'll sneak blocks in between my quad, or in between, my quads to make more range. This one goes pretty deep. Sometimes I'll lean back or I'll lean forward. So you kind of got to play around with it to find your sweet spot. I find for most though, when your butt's off the pad and you're driving the knees into the pads, seems to work the best. So I'm gonna bang out another 2 sets, 25 reps on this guy. Peach is starting to get polished here. You know, I wanted to bring up a really important point that I've learned over my career of training, and that's less is more. I now in a full workout, maybe only do anywhere from 8, maybe 10 working sets. And I've found my results have just skyrocketed for so many reasons, because it's like when you go to the gym and you do a couple warm-up sets, but you got to attack the set. That's why I do the 25 rep sets. You know, they They last anywhere from maybe sometimes 60 to 90 seconds, maybe even 2 minutes, but it's an all-out assault on every set I do. And that's the way you want to train. So many people go into the gym, and I made this mistake too. I did like 30 sets of workout, but I left a lot of it on the floor. You know, these are half-ass sets. If you really start to just kind of give this all-out mentality with your sets, you're gonna see much better results. So we're gonna do a 1-set wonder on this guy. We're gonna bang out a 50-repper, guys. I love 50-rep sets, really challenges me. I'm using the reverse hack squat. This is such an amazing piece of equipment if your gym does have it. If it doesn't have it, you can easily do a barbell back squat, a dumbbell squat, a Smith machine squat. I like to get 1-set wonders on the squats for a nice fitty. And the reverse is one of my favorites. It allows me to get a nice angle here. Gonna really squeeze down into it. Oh yeah, holy cow. That's so nice. So once I hit that 90 degrees, driving through my heels. This is super comfortable because it is spine loaded. However, I don't have to have my arms I don't have to externally rotate, which is really difficult sometimes to keep the back flat, driving up through. Oh. So the key when you're doing high rep training is you count in 5s. You know, I never count 1 to 50. I'm just getting to 5 reps, taking a breather, then another 5. The rest pause principle is where I would break once I hit that fatigue, take a few seconds, nothing more than 5, and then jumping right back in and banging out another 5 reps. So like I said, the quads, the glutes, everything is getting polished off here, and 50 reps for the win before we work on the glute med. Guys, last but not least, number 5 on the day, my favorite exercises for the glutes. I usually will either end or start with kickbacks. I'm gonna do a straight back kickback today. You guys know how much I love the traditional step over, but I'm feeling more of a max heavy day, which is the big part of the glute. This is basically where I'm gonna be angled forward to the cable stack, and I'm kicking straight back. Nice control on the way down. I like to have my basically my foot pass this foot here for a really good stretch. I find the more of the stretch I get, the better the contraction. I like to pause. I always pause at each part of the lift. So at the bottom I'll pause, and then at the back I'll pause, and I'll slowly come down. And boy, oh boy. So I've always said, I kind of have this, I call it the NUNZI set. So how the NUNZI set works is your first 10 reps are just so quality. Like if you were filming for content or you were trying to impress somebody with your form, you really want to slow and control these reps. Gradually what's going to happen is you're going to get tired, and that's where you can kind of do more of an up tempo where you're driving and squeezing. Once you start to fail at the up tempo, you'll just do a couple rest pauses. Telling you got to use rest pauses in your training to really intensify it. Quick breaks, you bang out 5 more. Quick breaks, you bang out 5 more. And then to polish off the NUNZI sets, the isometric hold. So this is where we're gonna hold the weight at the contraction, squeeze that glute. Oh my gosh. And that's how we polish off the peach. So we're gonna do another 2 sets of 25 reps on this. So there you go, team. There is a standard glute workout I do. Can't really get much better than that. You know, we did about 8 to 10 working sets today, all in the high rep fashion. Really crafted the perfect peach. So this is a workout I highly recommend you guys give a go. As I mentioned at the start of the workout, twice a week is the best. Make sure you eat, hydrate. Your peach won't grow if you're not doing that. If you guys want more of my workouts, you gotta check out my glute training app. It's fully loaded with every single glute workout I've ever done. It's so sick. You can find that information in the link in the bio. Till next time, guys, I appreciate you. Get thick, stay excited.